welcome for everyone who's watching at the Innovation Café. My name is Margot. I'm the host, and today we had a talk by Boey Wang about haptic sense and how to adjust for people that don't have a visual perspective, basically. Boey, thanks for your talk.
Oh, thank you, Margot. Thanks for hosting. Yeah.
We have a couple of, I have a couple of questions for you, and perhaps our other guest also has some questions for you. To start, I was really curious because I mean, you're a designer, right? You finished at the Design Academy last year.
Yes.
I was wondering how you came up with this whole idea of, because it's not really something that you are you yourself have to deal with on a daily basis. So how did you? Yeah.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, actually, it's a very random starting point. Actually, I was doing an assignment to research about the acoustic environment in the city, and then at that moment it was about noises. So I was thinking the person who suffered the most from noises probably are the people who's using one of the hearing senses to navigate in the city. And then I accidentally met some like a blind lady, a visually impaired lady that I interviewed her, and then yeah, after the interviews, gradually she showed me her way of seeing, navigating, and she invited me to her house for a meal. And for the dinner, she said she's going to cook herself. And then at that moment, I realized that there's something extraordinary happening. Is that how she is mastering her own kitchen only by her finger, by the sense of like non-visual senses, fingers and hearings and also smelling. So that's where everything starts. Like really, also I learned a lot from this research is that I understand the relative of my visual perception. So that's also I want to carry through my work. Yeah.
That makes sense. Can you, because I mean, for me, I have been to a museum once where you had to be in situations as a blind person.
Yeah.
But in general, I feel like these people that are dealing with blindness, like they can go into the world and do basically everything everyone else has. Are there some besides maybe the cooking? Do you feel like there's some issues that are really prone, like really annoying for them that they have to deal with on a daily basis? Do you know a little bit more about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of things inaccessible for them, especially the website, the virtual informations. A good example is the Dutch Design Week last year. And it was a quick decision to make a virtual Dutch Design Week online. And the website they create actually is impossible to access for the visually impaired because the structure was not designed for them to use through. Yeah, all these things are very there's actually a structure for the assisting access, but that website is not designed for that. And basically, yeah, it's for people who want to read about design or what is happening in this moment, what is inclusive for them, it's not accessible. Although we say it's we're being more inclusive. That's a very good. I think that's an example of that.
It's my perception that the design community puts a very strong emphasis on visual appearance or visual perception. Is that also your impression, or so you hardly see projects on other senses like haptic sense or smell?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. On one hand, for my hope of this project is first is problem solving for the visually impaired. The second is to bring this accessibilities for people who has a vision to understand these at least of haptic sense. How does it work at the first to bring up this awareness that okay, there's another way of cooking at least, or there's another way of designing a shape, function, or that which is different from our common sense, which is mainly formed by the vision. So that's actually another side of this project.
Mm-hmm. So you think a design for a non-handicapped person could also benefit from that, right? If a blind person can use it, then also a person that has vision can use it, and it might actually be a better experience.
Yes, for sure. Because for something that you think, oh, it feels really good in your hand. Yeah, it's not only looks really good. Like a red velvet chair probably won't be comfortable to sit on. But if it's a very comfortable chair, that your body feels it. And this haptic sense actually, if it's also can be another perspective for design a better well-being, a better functions, a user experience, and being like put in a methodological way. So that's how I see it.
It is very, very impressive how you approach this beautiful theme. So it's not only that the products you came up with or the solutions you came up with are nice. I'm deeply impressed by the cup with the holes, but also how you found it. So with this cup, did you also consider a version with a thin wall so that you maybe feel the temperature or?
Yeah, this one actually is designed for cool liquid, but not hot.
yeah. That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
It is. It is rather. It's made in the shape of a laboratory equipment shape. Really thin. Yeah, for temperature resisting material. It has a very like high conductivity, so faster than the normal glass. Longer. So it's really like it makes you feel more actually. Yeah. But it's a very like a small subtle difference. I mean, the point.
But it's enough, I guess. Huh? So you can probably when you learn how to use this, it's probably not so difficult. Huh?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about where you want this project to go?
Yeah, actually, this project it's going to the next step. It's this methodology behind this design. I'm working with the Simon together about to make it more, I'll say, theoretical and practical, except also applicable to the current situation. Now we did is focused on the educational side of this haptic way of working. We call it haptic aesthetics. We see it as a kind of a door or opening for the vision that we have in design educations, which is mostly dominated by sight. We're thinking to have another approach of design and for the students. And it tested out well with the students from the last workshop, is that it can really help them to pick up their guts feelings and their own instinctions to deal with some disadvantage that they have in order to have a better understanding of the need for from their users. So usually we think we design something for the comfort, design something for the consuming, which is the needs. But actually there's a lot of like unconsciously fear or unconfidence, or also it's a kind of the need, has a better connections behaves as a function. So it's another way of thinking functionality, and in the education to train the students have a more free and trust, confidence in themselves.
Yeah. Is it, I mean, now you're basically focusing on more, it's almost like raising awareness, right? Like for students, makers. Are you also interested in creating more awareness for these types of things with consumers in some way?
Yes, this is now is narrowed down into this understandings of the other senses as the recent step, or the short-term steps. It's really about how to like communicate this multisensory idea. The next steps that we are going to take with Simon is to using this methodology into product design ourselves to create, to improve some products. For example, our user experience of cups or of drinking somehow. These very simple gestures from another methodology that we can sell this product. And also we have theories behind it that can be spread in either education or publishing. Yeah, so that's what we're seeing in the midterm and in long term. I mean, yeah, it's too far to say.
Yeah, and also like I guess that then automatically like creating these types of projects like will automatically like also you will try to get them into shops, for example.
Yeah, it can be a theme that maybe a brand maybe called Feels Good or something. Yeah.
I like that you already have the title already.
Yeah. Yeah. So why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking to how to for the further step to make it more beneficial for us as well. It's not only a passion, burning passions for speaking and repeating ourselves, but also have a more sustainable process.
Do you think like you want to continue in, I mean, for now, obviously you're still working in that field of haptic sense. Like, is that something that you want to continue doing? And I mean, obviously, I think this is something you're always gonna take into your whole design process anyway, because it's so stuck and that's the whole point of it, right? Do you feel like you're also interested in exploring other fields of, do you have other fields of interest that you would want to explore in your design work?
Yeah, I do. Because the haptic sense project, it's half of my my focus now. It's really about this this sensational, subjective perceptions. Another way is like I'm working on it's about to questioning about the standardizations that we're dealing with during the flexibility of standardizations and also the flexibility of our rationalities. Is another, I have two projects, graduate from Design Academy, and this is one of it. Another project is it's a measuring project. I designed a series of like flexible measurements, a ruler that you can stretch due to the force you added or some other flexible measurement tools that to really challenging our like the rigid understanding of standardizations as we experience now that a lot of things are changed, are shifting or are stretching. We are actually in between of it. So this unconfidence actually suggests a future direction for me to really think how can we improve our mentality rationally and sensationally.
Really inspired by COVID then.
Yes, indeed.
Nice. And so you have more questions for Boey?
Yeah, I think the interesting question is, what was your fear when you blinded yourself?
Fear actually is a very, how to say, something not bad, you know. It's fear.
Yeah, no, I'm asking because you made it part of your process to find kind of use cases for.
Fear actually is something I see it make me fear for actually is the understanding, the misunderstanding of a fear, because we're afraid of things, we're afraid of sort of things happening, but we really like under-evaluated the potential, either our body or our ability, and our instincts. Because fear is something very natural part of us to make our more strong, like to surviving. And actually the fears can have a strong driven to shift our adopt, for example, our like adoption, for example, from visual to other senses. Yeah, if we accept fears and we use it as a strong driven, I mean, this can be very beneficial. So fear, I think in general, in short, it's about if you understand it or not, and then it means accept or not. I don't know if I answered your question or not.
Yeah. So I wanted, I mean, it's an interesting topic indeed to. So I'm fascinated by this idea to use fear as the driver for finding problems and solutions. No? And I agree with what you say. But I was more interested in, you know, the concrete kind of struggle you experienced when you blindfolded yourself. Huh? So what was your surprise? What did you not expect? I mean, we all have an idea what will happen, but what you did not expect when you blindfolded yourself?
Yeah, I think it's the information I get. Yeah, I gradually, actually, first 2 or 3 hours was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And, also many troubles. It's very hard. Even I can't tie my shoelace. It's very painful. But after a while, actually, I work slowly actually, because at the beginning, the confidence comes from my normal pace. That usually because like cost of my vision, because I can see, so I have a fast pace of doing things. But after a while, like 7 to 8 hours, I start getting used to it, and I move a bit slower and careful. Although I chop a potato into slices, usually I can do very fast, but when I fold my eyes, I really like chop it to feel that the knife touched the cutting board, and I know, oh, this slice is finished, and I do a next. So basically, what really surprising me is the pace that I experienced. The time actually passing, the time feeling is different than the moment when I can see. Yeah.
That is very interesting. So you would recommend someone who is suffering from, you know, the rush we experience these days, maybe to blindfold him or herself to learn to slow down.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good, how to say, a good sympathy or something, you know, as a wish. But the first thing they need to accept is this unconfidence. If they, if they're willing. But of course, this might help. There's more logics in between, like to make people do so naturally. So but it will work if this is a process is reasonable.
What I can imagine, like when you don't have vision, like I can imagine it's also you will have to have such a good memory compared to visual. I mean, obviously you can have reminders via audio, but also like for example, I'm quite a messy person, and I tend to, for example, put something somewhere, but like you have to remember everything, because otherwise you just can't find anything anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sure like that would be one of my main problems if that would ever happen to me.
Maybe, yeah, I think maybe you would change your way of doing that after. Otherwise, you just keep losing your stuff.
I remember
or you just knock down. Yeah.
I remember I was talking about this museum that's in Nijmegen, actually. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it was a really interesting experience, actually, because you actually go into this museum with someone who's visually impaired. So, and they actually guide you through these situations, and it's very interesting to see, because these people are so, like, I mean, for them, it doesn't make any difference, right? But for yourself, you feel so weird about it. But it's interesting to see how structural they are, even in their way of going everywhere.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and they have to probably, otherwise.
But that's an interesting one also to compare to your standardization project, like for people that are visually working and they have to have certain rules and then go towards a project where you're questioning standardization. It might be an interesting perspective to that even.
Oh yeah, good, nice input. I didn't think about it, but yeah, for sure. Yes, thanks.
Sure. Ernst, I don't know if you still have another question for Boey, otherwise I think we're gonna round it up.
Yeah.
Then I want to thank you for answering our questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mahot. Thank you, Ernst.
Thanks for the nice presentation,
of course. Next week there will actually be just a meetup where we can talk with each other. So I hope that everyone will be there. And actually the week after that, on the 13th of May, we will actually have Simon Dogger here to talk a little bit about his project. So it's going to be a nice little comparison. So we hope to see everyone again then. For now, if you have any questions or you want to know more, you can go to the website ehvinnovationcafe.org. And good evening. That's it.
Good evening. Thank you.